Hi there.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Flying Frog video. Here we have the Junkers F-13, first built in 1919 and was the world's first all-metal transport plane. Now this has been on the marketplace this morning as of the end of August for $22.45, which is approximately $15 American, 14 euro, and around about 12 pounds sterling. Now this aircraft, this particular model was developed by Oliver Mosser on behalf of Microsoft. So what we're going to do is we're going to get in, have a look, and see if it's up to the same standard as the Ju-52. Now this particular aircraft is the actual. We do get a modern replica. We also get the one with skis and one with floats. We also get the standard Xbox livery and the Aviators Club livery, and there are no other liveries apart from what you see. Now I will be showing this one, but I won't be flying it. I will be flying the replica a little bit later on, so we actually do get to see both variants. This particular one, the original, had a Mercedes-Benz water-cooled inline motor, and as you can see we've got the wooden prop there. So what we'll do is we'll get on down and have a look at the modelling and see if it's up to standard. Now so far it looks pretty good, reasonably nice, tidy, no flaring. Modelling looks very good. The detailing of the work, it looks excellent. Probably the rivets look a little out of focus as I've come in a little bit close, but look, I'm getting in really close here and probably being a little bit picky for a $22 plane. So now this particular aircraft, as we'll get a bit closer in, is made out of aluminium. Look at that tail. It makes you wonder how it ever was able to be controlled. So now the rear cabin held 4 passengers in heated comfort, where the pilots, we'll go up here and have a look, had this semi-open cockpit and no windscreen at all or no glass except for the front there, and no roof, or very little roof at all. So what we'll do is now I don't think these doors open up, so we're just going to stick our head through the glass and have a look inside. And there we go. So room for 4 people in heated comfort. Oh, terrible, shocking, sorry about that. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop in the cockpit, we'll have a look, and then I'll come back on out and we'll go take the replica for a fly, and just then I won't worry about stall characteristics or anything like that. A little bit of handling, but it's the Local Legends series, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on whether or not to purchase this aircraft or not. Okay, here we are in the cockpit, so we'll just take a look around. Now it does look like a lot of the other local legends that we've had in the past. A lot of the, quite sparse in the way what we've got here, and the use of the brass surrounds around the dials. And to be honest with you, it doesn't look that great. It's a little bit FSX-y to my eyes. It's just not, it's a bit muddled. It's a bit muddy. It's not super clear or anything like that. And a little bit too clean, too neat, too tidy for an aircraft that's this old. But anyway, let's have a look here. Oh yeah, we can drop the window down there. That's great. Like I said, I won't be flying this particular aircraft. I will be taking out the Replica. So we've got nothing up here at all. Now I know this one is relatively easy to start. We've got a crank handle. We've got various fuel taps here in this area here in the centerpiece to turn on, and basically crank her over and off you go. Right, so that's the look of that one. Now no lights in this version, so I will come back out and I'll go back out and come back in with the Replica version. Here we have the replica of the Junkers F-13. Now this particular aircraft has the Pratt & Whitney Wasp Junior engine. So what we're going to do is have a look at that. Now while we're coming in here, the prop itself is a single pitch prop, and the decal on that looks fantastic as well from this distance. And what we'll do is we'll just come on in. Let's hop on down a little bit and have a look at the nameplate, or at least the motor's identification plate, and that looks very good. That's well done. Looks really clear. The motor itself looks well modelled, well detailed, so that's a nice job there. Right, so let's hop on back out and have a look around. Now modelling detailing of the aircraft itself looks really nice. I actually think it actually looks a little bit better than the vintage version, to be honest with you. Now this particular aircraft does do air shows through Europe. And there is a YouTube video in 4K of this particular aircraft if you want to have a search for it, if you want to see the actual thing flying itself. So what we'll do is I'll just get on down here in the in amongst the wheels like I usually do and have a look. As we can see, this one here has got modern disc brakes, as you would, seeing as it's a replica anyway. So that's nice. It's actually a pretty good job. I'm quite happy with that. That looks very nice. Let's come on round here. Yeah, very good. Radio. Now we'll scoot underneath this wing and we'll go and have a look inside into the passenger area and compare that with the vintage version. Now I don't think the door's open. I could be wrong, but I'm in drone mode, so not a lot of things work in drone mode. So let's have a look inside here. There you go, opposing seats with seat belts. Looks very nice and comfy. and we got a door either side, it looks like. So fantastic, really good. Right, so what I'll do is I'll see you guys in the cockpit, and we'll have a look at that. Okay, here we are in the cockpit. Now, it looks way better. It doesn't look so FSX looking. Much better. Very clean, tidy, unused, like it's a museum piece, and so I suppose a replica would be. But this one does do air shows. You would think there would be some wear and tear. But anyway, that's okay. Now this window does slide down, so we can talk to the passengers who are in comfort in the back. Now they, like I said, they get heated area where the pilots don't. We've got our fire extinguisher over there. Right. Now we do have a checklist, and I didn't check that with the vintage version, but I would expect that it does have one. So we've got a fairly decent checklist. I won't be going via that because I just like to wing it, and it's just me. So down here we have our tail wheel to be able to lock it or not. Also too, the vintage one has a skid and not a wheel, which means it's not quite as manoeuvrable on the ground. Now we do have a trim wheel here off to the side, so just shimmy on over to have a look at that. And also we have an indicator of where your trimming is, so we can see it's moving there. So I like that. That's not a bad idea. It knows where your trimming are, or is, I should say, as in using proper grammar. Now the fuel itself is modelled to, where are we? To off. Now that's because I've already been into the sim and done this. My recording failed, so I'm now redoing this again. So, but it was modelled in as on both. Okay, so like I said, I do prefer it to be in the off position. So we have our mixture and our throttle, and as I said, we have a single pitch prop. Now we got a primer here, which I have started this one before without it, and it's not modelled, so it's irrelevant. But what we can do is, I'm not sure how we can get this one to work. It's just a switch. Prime. Okay. Not a pump. It just seems to be a switch. Right. So we're instruments and everything's here. So let's just do this one on. Magnetos. Fuel pump. Okay, now I can't hear anything above that, so that's already, the beacon's already on. Someone's got a jet there. Okay, alternator. Avionics are on. Now you turn your avionics on here and your gyros here, and when you come in you need to just turn these on. Now, like I said before, I had my recording failed, so we just turn these on. You can turn it on here, and we can turn it on there as well. So who's the noisy bugger? Anyway, so okay, so what we'll do is we'll get this one started. Clear prop. Nice sound. Okay. So that's the basic rundown. It's a basic cockpit. We don't get much else. Oh, I will say, the circuit breakers do work. They're clickable. As you can see, this one here turned on and off, which is great. Fantastic. Great bit of modelling. Rightio, so what I'll do is I'll taxi on up at the end of the runway and I will take off. Okay, here we are at the end of the runway, so let's take off. I won't worry about doing a stall test. I'll just do a little bit of manoeuvrability, do a circle round, get some flying shots, and then come back on into land, and then I'll be giving you my final thoughts. So let's get this one going. What we'll do is, okay. Now I didn't turn these fuel pumps off, and I know I turned them on, so they do automatically turn off after a certain period of time. Why? Yeah, who knows. But anyway. Let's keep going and see how she feels. Now inside the cockpit I feel the motor does sound a little quiet, particularly for an open cockpit as such. We're starting to get a little kick off to the left. There we go, in the air. Takes off fairly gently. Not too much effort at all. Okay, so this one will be a fairly quickish flight. So far I can tell that there's nothing exceptional about the aircraft at all. It just is what it is. So, as you can tell, she's a bit on the sluggish side, which is fine. You know, it isn't the age of the beast after all, and these were not performance aircraft. Okay, so realistically, there's not much. As I said, she's a little bit sluggish. No smoking. We've got seat belts, but no seatbelt signs. So anyway, so cockpit. The dials look clear, easy to read. Let's have a look here. Let's put on our map. There we go. Now we can use a VFR on that one. I don't think there's an autopilot, which is fine. But we can just do a visual flight referencing, which is fine. So we can put in a flight plan and follow that using that. So let's hop on out and have a look on the outside. Okay, here's our runway there at basically at 12 o'clock. So let's put her in and I'll give you my final thoughts. She's a fairly gentle flyer. Just don't like this absolute close-up view. I prefer it a little bit back further. Kick over this side a little bit more. I usually come in off the centre for some reason. Maybe I'm a little bit cockeyed. Trying to use the throttle to control my altitude. So far so good. Now that windscreen frame does get in the way a little bit. She wants to float forever, as you can see. She just wants to keep climbing, just like the JU-52. Just doesn't want to touch down. Still in the air. Still in the air. Drifting. I've got trying to use the rudder to pull it over. I think I'm about, I don't know, am I on the ground? It's a hard one to tell. I think I am. Wow, that was an odd feeling. Didn't even feel like the tail was down. Almost felt like I was floating all the way. But there we go. Okay, I'll head on over to parking bay 6 and I'll give you my final thoughts. the Junkers F-13, brought to us by Microsoft and Oliver Mosser. $22.45 on the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace. Is it worth $22.45? If you're a collector of these local legends, yes. If you're not, I wouldn't worry about it. The modelling's good. I feel that the original, so the vintage version, is a little bit underwhelming. I feel as though that the FSX look of the cockpit of that one just puts me off. However, the replica version is far better. It looks way better. It's definitely a Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 standard. So yeah, you know, I think that the modelling, the detailing is really good on this version. Like I said, I do prefer this replica version than I do of the vintage version. I just feel as though the vintage version could have been done a little bit better. Flight characteristics is fine. Sound packages is fine. The landing was a bit weird. I couldn't tell whether or not I was on the ground or not. That felt a bit odd. But apart from that, would I fly this aircraft again? Yeah, probably not. It's not a JU-52. The JU-52 was definitely a cut above. We have had better aircraft, I feel, for the same money from Microsoft. And this one's just, well, it's not terrible. It's just lackluster in performance, but then it is a replica of a particular aircraft from a bygone era. Do I regret buying this one? No, I don't. But I don't think I'll be flying this one. It's just, for me, it's a bit of a meh aircraft, to be honest with you. So on that note, please like, comment, subscribe. Join my Discord channel. We can talk about this aircraft, other aircraft. We will be organising, starting off as the first Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. Western Australian time, which is +8 GMT, for a glider fly. The location will be in the Flying Frog Soaring section on my Discord channel, and we will be using the West USA server. So the description to my Discord, or should say the link to my Discord, will be in the description below when I stop tripping over my tongue. So please, on that note, everyone, stay safe.